Fitness is a big part of my life. I got started when I was 14 and I really couldn't imagine my life without it. Having said that, there are some side effects when it comes to working out, and today I want to go over some of those, the same ones I've struggled with and the same ones you may be struggling with, just so that you know you're not alone. And before we begin, I want to give a huge thanks to TLF for helping to make this video possible. I'm wearing their clothes, I love their stuff, and chances are you will too. If you want to grab some, go to tlfapparel.com and use our code TLF-buff for 15% off. We're gonna get started with side effect number one, which happened relatively early in my lifting career, and that was stretch marks. And being young, I had no idea what was going on. It basically just looked, in my opinion, ugly as hell. It gave me a lot of insecurities, and it was really frustrating because you go to the gym, you wanna look better, but then in my mind, I thought, well, now I look worse. And I took some extreme measures. I started wearing longer sleeves to cover it up because I had a lot that went on my biceps. I tried every single oil and lotion you could do in order to make them go away, and they never went away. The great news is they do fade over time. In fact, I can barely see mine now unless you take a really close look, and no one else sees them either. And even if they do, a lot of times they know exactly what it is. So stretch marks are number one. It's one of the things you may encounter early, and if you do go through it, just take comfort in the fact a lot of other people have too, including myself. Okay, now I want to move on to side effect number two. And as opposed to stretch marks, which were physical, this one is mental, and it's about your self-esteem. Because a lot of us go into this in order to raise our confidence. We want people to look at us and go, wow, they're bigger, they're leaner. That must mean they're somehow better, right? And that's not necessarily the case. In fact, some of the biggest, leanest dudes are also the most insecure because it didn't really fix that problem. In fact, sometimes when you begin working out, all of a sudden you notice you're hypercritical of yourself because gyms are full of mirrors, you're seeing yourself all the time, you're comparing yourself to others, you're stepping on the scale, you're tracking your weights, and things just can't come fast enough. And I would suggest not getting into working out specifically just so that people look at you in a better light, because chances are that's never going to bring you the fulfillment which you thought it would. Side effect number three is a really common side effect that once you're labeled it, it's hard to shake it off, and it can be very irritating, and that is you will now be labeled that fitness obsessed dude. The gossip begins maybe around the office, the school. There's that guy that works out and eats right. And then all of a sudden, you're kind of like an alien species to a lot of people. Words like macronutrients, even protein, is a foreign language to a lot of people, and they think you're talking something that they will never understand, which is really sad because it is very easy to understand. And just because you take enjoyment from bettering yourself, both physically and mentally, doesn't mean you're weird. But to a lot of people, even in this day and age, you are. It always kind of cracks me up when I go to the grocery store, maybe I'm buying some protein powder, and it never fails. Someone scans the item, they look at it, and they're like, what is this? Where did you get this in the store? Like they've never seen it before. And that can kind of rub you the wrong way depending on the day it is. Or you could also just kind of spread some positivity, give them a little knowledge and let them know you're not really obsessed, you just keep it a healthy part of your life. We're on to our final side effect. And for this one, it is inevitable if you plan on spending any amount of time in the gym getting bigger, leaner, or stronger. And that is being accused of being on steroids. It's happened to me over the years, it's happened to my brother, it's happened to some friends of mine, and really I gotta say, you just gotta take it in stride and almost take it as a compliment. If you're a natural, there's not a lot of sense in arguing with someone because chances are they've already made up their minds. And I've had some arguments over the years in our YouTube comments. You'll have someone who's convinced the only way we look like we do is because we've used something. And I haven't, but then again, that's what everyone says. And that's one of the problems you face in the industry, because when everyone's the liar, who's telling the truth? So really, my advice would be you just gotta cast the negativity aside, and you don't necessarily wanna get caught up in the arguments defending yourself, because not only will it really not solve anything, a lot of times it makes it even worse. Because as I said before, I'll be in a certain mood, I'll make a long reply, no I'm not, and then I list all the reasons, and someone comes back with, Well, see, you're defending yourself, so that proves you are. So it can be kind of this tangled web you get yourself into. Just take it as a compliment, take it in stride, and continue to do what you love and enjoy. All right, that wraps up the most common bodybuilding side effects that you're most likely to encounter during your lifting career. Some of them felt like pretty big stumbling blocks to me, but I was able to get over them. It's a mix of consistency, not giving up, and a positive support group. So I hope I was a little bit of a positive support group for some of you who may be struggling with these things. And again, keep doing what you're doing. Keep your head down, work hard, and always try to be learning both from your successes and failures. And until next time, stay buff.